All right, welcome back to the show. So in this video, we're gonna be doing a driving tour through Blythewood, South Carolina. And for those not familiar, Blythewood is a town about 20 minutes from downtown Columbia, about 30 minutes to Lexington in the Lake Murray area. It is also home of the future Scout plant, and we're actually gonna be driving by it later, and I'll show you the current progress. And we're also gonna check out some of the highlights of Blythewood. We're gonna be checking out the brand new Lexington Medical Center facility that is in the area. As well, we're gonna be driving to Doko Meadows Park. This is their town square where local events, concerts, and so much more takes place. We'll also be driving by the local schools, the award-winning Blythewood High School and Westwood High School. We're gonna be driving to some top golf course neighborhoods like Cobblestone Park and Long Creek Plantation, as well as so many more. As well, we'll dive into some new construction neighborhoods like Ashley Oaks, Grand Arbor by Pulte Homes, and we'll be passing right near Lake Carolina for those of you that wanna know where it is, and so many more. This way, if you plan to live in the area, you'll know where all the major things are. And I'm gonna break this down first as we drive through the west side. And to give you an idea, we started on Killian Road and we're crossing over I-77 now. And I'm gonna talk about the shopping that we just passed, as this is a major shopping hub for the area. But let me circle back, as we're gonna break this down first by driving through the west side of Blythewood. Then we're gonna head over to the east side, so that way we cover both sides. As we get closer to town, I'll talk to more about the population and size, but let's get started again where we are right now. We are in what is considered and what we call the Killian shopping district, right off of I-77. This is gonna be south of the town of Blythewood down I-77. I highlight this area and start here because this is a major shopping corridor for the area. You'll see as we get to downtown Blythewood itself, it does have a handful of shops, don't get me wrong, but not to the extent that you have over here. And as I split it from the west side to the east side, it will give you that best perspective to see how your drive to all these places would be depending on what neighborhood you live in. So that is why this will be the center of our drive. To give you an idea though, we got started at the Kroger Marketplace. And as we drove through, you might have seen some of the other areas. Freddy's Frozen Custard Steak Burgers, Salsarita's Mexican Grill, Chipotle, Move Fitness, Chick-fil-A, credit unions, multiple hotels. It's gonna be a Lowe's Home Improvement over there, all these Pop Shelf, CVS, Walgreens, Biscuitville, and so many more. As well, you may have noticed multiple dealerships, and we'll pass some of them later on when we loop back around. They got Hyundai, Subaru, Honda, Toyota, Porsche, Kia, BMW, Lexus, GMC, and they even have a Train HVAC facility over there. And as we crossed over the interstate, you might have caught eye of the Walmart. As mentioned again, we did cross over I-77. When we crossed that, to give you an idea, heading south, you're about 10 minutes to the edges of Columbia. 20 minutes though to downtown Columbia where the capital is. You're gonna be about the same distance to Fort Jackson staying on I-77. For reference though, if you head north up I-77, about an hour and 20 minutes, you're gonna hit Charlotte, North Carolina, making it an easy drive to the Charlotte Douglas International Airport. And as we head this way, you'll kind of see, as you might have caught already, it's kind of more of a rural part of Blythewood. And you'll see as we go throughout, there's some very developed areas that will come through and close to that Killian shopping center, and other areas that there's still quite a bit of land. And so it'll be interesting to see how this grows, especially as the Scout plant comes further along. And again, we'll talk about that more as we get further along. But we did just make a right onto Wilson Boulevard, and I'll talk a little bit about some of the stuff we come up here. But either way, for those of you that don't know who I am, my name is Brandon. Since 2020, I have been consistently creating videos like these so you can learn about the area, see if it's right for you. I've always said, when my wife and I relocated from California back in 2015, there weren't any videos like these. There really wasn't a lot of information there. We kind of took a shot in the dark, and in the end, thankfully it worked out. Obviously, I'm still here years later. But as I became a real estate agent, my goal was to truly create information like this, so those that were considered in the area would have a better idea without being here in person. Giving you these driving tours, I do neighborhood tours, pros and cons, market updates, and so much more. Giving you that on the ground look for those that can't be here all the time. Again, for those of you that are considering your area, don't hesitate to reach out, as my team and I have truly been helping people from all over the country relocate right here to the Midlands of South Carolina, Lexington, Columbia, and Lake Murray. Either way, on the left there, you might have caught eye excuse me, a D.R. Horton sign. I highlighted this in my most recent new construction series. So not a ton of information about this neighborhood over here, but it is going to be, they stay from around the 200s in the pricing in their Express series, which tells you what kind of neighborhood it is. And as you can kind of see, it's connected to that Stonington neighborhood that we passed. It's not an extension of it, but it is connected to it on that. On the right, you might have caught eye of a sign that said Stanley Martin homes at the Meadows at Summer Pines. Now, from what I've seen, this phase is actually sold out, and it's actually coming right up here on the right. But after we pass it, you'll see some land that they're clearing. So kind of just right up here on the right-hand side. And so I'm not sure if this is an extension of that neighborhood because, again, there's not a lot of information out there. But of course, we'll keep an eye on this as, there you go, you can see that land clearing, to see if there is future phases of Summer Pines in that area. But again, circling back, like I said in that new construction video, I talk about that neighborhood and so many others, and we'll cross through some of them as we continue on through this. Like I said, Ashley Oaks and many more. Either way, as we come up here, we're gonna be making a left. On the right is actually Palisades of Blythewood apartment homes for those that are considering rentals. We don't have a rental division, get asked all the time, but at a right at this light will be that. But if you stay straight, the next left will be Community Road, which would have taken us to Industrial Park. Over there, you actually have quite a bit of industrial facilities. You have Coca-Cola, Spirax Sarco, JTEKT North America, Pure Power Technologies Inc., and so much more. Again, continuing straight would have taken us back to the interstate and will actually take us over to where Blythewood High School is, downtown Blythewood. And we'll actually be making a loop to that in just a little bit. So I will point this out later, but I wanted to kind of give you some reference point of where we sit right now. But either way, we did make a left here, and on the right, what we're passing is the award-winning Westwood High School. So part of this town is gonna be zoned for Westwood High School, and part of it's gonna be Blythewood High School that we are gonna cross later on, as I mentioned, or you can continue down Wilson Boulevard, as I said, to hit that. Up here on the right, we're gonna be passing another larger neighborhood, Wren Creek. Actually, when I first got into real estate, I did a open house in this neighborhood. At that time, it was kind of wrapping up their new construction, and that's that one right there. Either way, up ahead, we're gonna be coming up around the corner, but I kind of wanted to, again, circle back just because we move so fast through that area. Talking about, as you can see, this section very rural, not that much development. And again, as you'll see, there are sections that are pretty developed and other sections that aren't as much. You have some random neighborhoods that popped up. Again, with that scout plant that we'll talk about a little bit more as we head that direction, it's gonna bring a lot of jobs to the area. And so a lot of people are wondering what this growth is going to look like. How much is actually gonna grow in this area? Basically, this is just gonna be taken over by developments, or does it stay to this more rural stance? Now, you will notice that a lot of the neighborhoods in here do have a little bit more space, like the Ashley Oaks and some of the other ones, where others are, Blythewood Farms, not as large a lot. So it's kind of a mix of both. But again, it's been interesting to see, and as we drive later on, we pass some land clearing, and I actually did some research into these so you can get an idea of what these neighborhoods are actually going to be as far as development goes. But again, there's been a lot of growth in this area prior to even the scout plant being announced, right? And I want to make that clear, like this all didn't happen after the scout plant was announced. A lot of this growth had already started. So either way, we're kind of up here to a stop sign. We're gonna be making a right, and this is Fulmer Road. So actually to the left, Fulmer Road would have taken us back to Wilson Boulevard where we originally started, a little bit before that D.R. Horton neighborhood. You make a left there and that's Fulmer Road, but it looped around. I wanted to catch back up to this because we're gonna cross over some of those other neighborhoods, and you may start to see signs here in just a little bit as we come up to them. The first neighborhood we're gonna come up to here in just a little bit, and I'll probably get ahead of myself here, but again, I don't wanna get behind. As you can see, we move really fast, and I've already missed a couple things that I wanted to point out. But we're gonna be coming up here to the Ashley Oaks neighborhood. So Ashley Oaks is a new construction neighborhood by Stanley Martin Homes. And you'll actually see after we pass the brand brand new section of the neighborhood. Past it, you'll see the original Ashley Oaks. This is actually an extension of it. But either way, Stanley Martin is in building homes in this neighborhood, and it's been growing for quite some time. And going back to that new construction video where I talked about new construction area, I did a walkthrough of this, but I didn't tour the entire neighborhood. And the reason is because they're down to their final phase in their final homes. And so I mentioned in there that this may be the last opportunity, so for those of you watching this, to get into Ashley Oaks. Probably, I would say by the very beginning of next year, is from what I'm told, early spring, the neighborhood's gonna be wrapped up. So these are gonna be your last chances to get in this neighborhood, and you can start to see it on the right-hand side as we pull up, and this car is actually slowing down to pull into the neighborhood. So this is gonna be the new section of Ashley Oaks. Again, as we continue on, there is an older section of Ashley Oaks, completely different styles of homes. I've showed in there older homes, and you may catch the sign up here on the left in just a little bit here, but again, it's going to be different than Ashley Oaks that we just saw back there. But to give you an idea, again, going back to Ashley Oaks, they do say they have 5-bedroom homes ranging from 3,400 square feet up to 4,480 square feet. They're in the process of building their community center. I was out there the other day, and they have a community clubhouse and pool. Pricing, to give you an idea, comes in from around $510,000 on the low side up to the low 600s. And like I said, not too many opportunities left in this neighborhood. So I don't know if we passed it, but there was a street back there, Swigert Road. And if you did watch that new construction video, I teased about this Mungo neighborhood that's potentially coming to the area. And it would have been down Swigert Road to the left back there. I think we did pass it already. So again, a lot of this hopefully gives you reference points of, okay, if I live in Ashley Oaks, if I plan to live there, where is everything? And that sign right there, Abney States. So this was another Stanley Martin neighborhood. And again, I didn't put this in the new construction video because while the sign's out there, they have nothing on their website. And the last closing, when I searched through MLS, we're actually back in January of this year, but the prior 3 months before that, there were no closings. So I believe that was the end of their phase, if I'm not mistaken. Now, if you saw in one of my last driving videos, it's not uncommon for Stanley Martin to leave signs up after the neighborhood is sold out. But trying to look at tax records and maps, there may be some land still out there, and that may be why the sign's out there. Don't quote me on this. I just didn't have information to share, so that's why I didn't, though. To give you an idea, though, very similar floor plans to Ashley Oaks and what they had in their neighborhood. Their pricing for the last closings was a little bit less than what Ashley Oaks was, though. But again, obviously that was the beginning of the year, and obviously things changed. So we just made a right onto Blythewood Road, and we're heading down to downtown Blythewood. Again, hopefully this gives you a perspective. We'll go through downtown Blythewood. We're actually going to be heading back over to Killian. As we're going down this road, though, pretty shortly here, we're going to be coming up to the Scout plant. After we pass a couple neighborhoods right here, you'll start to see the clearing in the trees. And so I want to kind of start talking about it. I actually got a really good video, because you probably will only see some of it on the right hand side, but I got a video so you can see the progress thus far. Because obviously this plant got started, the construction has started, and it's expected, I believe 2026 is when they expect it to be completed. So we still got some time before it's completed, but they made quite a bit of progress, quite a bit of land clearing. Either way, their site states that it's a $2 billion Scout Motors electrical vehicle plant. And for those not familiar, Scout, the original Scout, Volkswagen is now building it. And here you go. A little bit, there you go, right there on the right hand side. You can see it right there, and I'll give you a little clear shot as we pass this town of Blythewood sign. There you go. So you can get a good idea of obviously the size of that and the plant that they have so far. So either way, Volkswagen is now the subsidiary of that. They're building a 1,100 acre site, and they say it'll employ 4,000 people and produce 200,000 vehicles annually by the end of 2026. And so again, obviously, this is where a lot of the growth is coming. I've personally already talked to and helped multiple people relocate to the Midlands of South Carolina. They're getting jobs at Scout or have jobs already at Scout. Some of the jobs have already started. Other jobs, of course, are going to be in the future. Once that plant starts, they'll have more people on the ground, but some of them have already come to the area. And I was always told the 4,000 people was not specifically at that plant itself, but partially because of the ancillary jobs that are going to be created. But you can see the construction that they created, because this is where I'm assuming there's a map that shows kind of one of the main entrances is going to be off this road. So they're widening up. But I do want to talk about Cobblestone Park that's going to be coming up on the left-hand side. So this is going to be a golf course gated neighborhood. For those not familiar with it, I've talked about in some other videos. Gated golf course neighborhood made up of many different subsections, tons of different styles of homes, variety of pricing, and we'll talk about it in just a minute. One of the highlights of this neighborhood was, at least to me, the amenity center. They have a pool, tennis courts, soccer fields, indoor gymnasium, and a gym within there as well. And a lot of people ask about this. And I can tell you, when they were selling homes pre-pandemic, and the entrance is coming up right here on the left-hand side here. And so it is, again, a gated neighborhood. There's a secured, not like a code gate, there's a security guard that sits there. There's a back entrance that only owners can get in and residents. So it's truly, you know, it's not one of those codes where who handed out the code, who's got the code, right? There's a security guard there to get into the neighborhood. Again, crossing back over I-77, I promise I'll finish what I was saying about it. Crossing over I-77 here, again, heading back to the right was going to bring you back down to Killian, heading to the left up to Charlotte. We're heading into downtown. I'll talk about that in just a little bit, but circling back again, pre-pandemic, Cobblestone Park, when they were wrapping up some of the new construction, I got to tour with some clients that were considering the neighborhood. And so we went down to the pool, and it's set up like a resort, which is pretty cool. And what I mean by that is they had a little food drink section right there, and your HOA card that gets you into the pool, you could actually swipe there to order food and drinks, which I thought was a pretty cool feature. Obviously, it can get dangerous real quick if you hand it to your kids, and the next thing you know, you got a bill in the mail for it. But obviously, super unique what it is. As we continue to drive through downtown Blythewood, as you can see, they got some stuff here, right? There's Waffle Houses, fast food, you got some grocery stores. There was a grocery store right outside of Cobblestone Park, but not a lot. And that's why I said that Killian Shopping Center is one of the major shopping hubs. And we're gonna, don't get me wrong, we're gonna be driving back to it to give you perspective, but I wanted you to see here. Either way, Cobblestone Park. So the golf course itself, like I said, golf course neighborhood. That golf course was recently purchased, and their site now says Cobblestone Park is a wonderful 27-hole golf course. Voted number 4 in Golf Pass Top 25 College Golf Courses list in 2021, number 7 in Golf Pass Top Golf Courses in South Carolina, and 39th best clubhouse in the country by Club and Resort Business. Cobblestone Park features the best design in Columbia. Panoramic views, rolling hills, beautiful oaks, and pines take it over the top. As longtime Columbia area golfers know, this is the best golf experience in the area. Our club offers affordable membership plans and limited daily fee play. Cobblestone Park is home to a 28,000 square foot clubhouse. This well-appointed masterpiece also offers Columbia's newest restaurant, Alexander's at Cobblestone Park. Open for lunch and dinner, stop in for a post-round beverage, casual lunch, or family dinner overlooking our beautiful 18-hole golf course. Cobblestone Park is better than ever. It's time for you to come see it. So, to give you an idea of pricing in that neighborhood, let me give you an idea though. Again, we drove through downtown, at the end of downtown. So to the left there, let me point out here, Blythewood High School, award-winning Blythewood High School right here on the right-hand side. Again, for those that are zoned for it, this is where it's gonna be. But as we drove through downtown, to the left, that would take you over to where Doko Meadows is. And again, we're gonna be driving there later, so hold on tight because we will go check it out. Very cool area that you'll wanna check out. But obviously we're heading this way, and this is back on Wilson. If you remember Wilson, I talked about would have crossed over the interstate, head to Blythewood High School. We're not gonna take it all the way back to there. We're gonna make a left-hand turn in a little bit, but this is that road that we started on. Either way, there are some neighborhoods up on the left. I'm gonna circle around, but let me finish back with Cobblestone Park. So to give you an idea, last year Cobblestone Park, homes sold between $315,000 and $735,000. Average price though there, to give you an idea, being right about $411,000. Either way, on the here we are right here to the left. To give you an idea about that, so that's gonna be another road, rim or pond, that's gonna actually take you back to, we're gonna be on it later, so I'll point it out again, but like Carolina and some other neighborhoods. So I just wanna give you an idea, so again, as we circle back around and you kind of get an idea of where it is. But let me go back to the town of Blythewood itself to give you an idea about it. So the town itself, has 4,772 people, and that's in a 9.8 square miles. Again, obviously there's town areas and census areas, 29016, the zip code in the area. Either way, Blythewood is originally named Doko, and this is where Doko Park comes from, Doko Meadows Park. And it's a Native American term for watering place. The town was named after Doko Depot, which was a stop along the railroad that ran between Charlotte and Columbia in 1865. This railroad was destroyed by General Sherman. The town was rebuilt and changed its name to Blythewood in 1877 after a local school is called the Blythewood Female Institute. The school was later renamed Blythewood Academy. Just to give you an idea, we straight again would have taken you back to the interstate. Probably, I would say, a mile or two up the road is the interstate, and then just past that is going to be where we made that left turn. And I told you, hey, going straight, Wilson Boulevard there. And so that's where that is right there. Either way, there's still a lot more history that I want to cover, and if we have time, we'll circle back to it about downtown Blythewood. But again, I want to kind of catch up. So we are on Faro Road now. We're going to take Faro Road basically back to where we were earlier and then head to the, I guess that would be the east side of the area. On the left, though, is going to be an established neighborhood, Willow Lake. Now, McGuinn Homes did do an extension of Willow Lake over the past year, but I believe over the past year that sold out. Either way, on the left, you'll see an Amazon sign. This is not our main distribution facility in the area. This is the main one is over by West Columbia. We have a couple in the area. As well, there's a Belk distribution center over there. This is all part of the Carolina Pines Industrial Park. So again, you have Belk Distribution Center, Intertape Polymer Group, Husqvarna Outdoor Products, you have Patterson Logistics Services, Amcor Rigid Plastics, and a whole bunch more. So obviously the Scout plant coming to the area, it was not new for us to see industrial right here in Blythewood. Obviously there's an expansion of it to the other side of the interstate from what we see already. Either way, after we kind of leave, let me see where we're at. After we pass this water tower, this is kind of where the rumor mill gets started, where I'm going to start some rumors. So you're going to see on the left-hand side of the road as they're clearing some land up here once we pass this truck. And I did some research into this. And so back in 2022, it was requested for zoning changes. And it states the residential single family medium density district is intended as a single family detached residential district of medium densities. And the requirements for this district are designed to maintain a suitable environment for single family living. Minimum lot area is 8,500 square feet or determined by DHEC. The maximum density standard, no more than one principal dwelling unit may be placed on a lot except for permanent accessory dwellings. And you'll start to see this land being cleared right here on the left-hand side. So either way, based on gross density calculation, the maximum number of units for the site is approximately 622 dwelling units. Doesn't mean that's what's going to be. Either way, the name associated with this request for the change that they were approved for follows back to both DRB Homes and Pulte Homes. So I'm not entirely sure. Obviously, Pulte Homes has been around our area for a little while now. Made that expansion probably about a year and a half ago or so. DRB Homes is another builder on the East Coast, but we've yet to see them in Columbia. They made their way into Greenville, Charleston, and Myrtle Beach. This wouldn't be unheard of, as again, Pulte Homes, Lennar Homes has done this in the last year or so. But I don't want to get ahead of myself because obviously, like I said, it may just be Pulte Homes. Either way, as we come up here, you may see some signs coming up, and this is going to be on the right side this time. You may catch them, but there's a street down there called North Pines. Down that way is actually going to be the sold out Windfall by Mungo Homes, and on the back side of that actually connects to Stanley Martin Homes, the Meadow at Summer Pines that we saw earlier connects to that. But on that corner, there's some land, and we're probably, here's the turn right here on the right, and there's a sign right there. You're not going to catch it, some of the builder signs pointing direction, but there's a sign right here. But either way, they already started clearing the land back there. Went back to again to search some things and found the county meeting that showed proposed, it's called Kingsley Phase 1 Residential, 174 lots. So approved proposal, this came in under a developer's name. So what do I mean by that? You may not know, so some neighborhoods, the developer develops and they sell those lots off to the builder, where other builders, you know, Mungo I know does it, Pulte and some of the others, they actually develop their own land. And not all of their neighborhoods. You will find some neighborhoods like the Falls, where that's why there's multiple builders in there, because you got the developer that sells off different areas. And so either way, that falls back to developer. So what it turns into, not 100% sure. Either way, we're coming up here again. As you saw on the right there, that is the Kroger Marketplace that we started at. So we're back this way. Now, as we make a left here, this actually is Clemson Road. If you remember, the other way was Killian. So here's some of those dealerships I talked about. They sell those dog bone cars right over there to the right. You'll know what I'm talking about. The little, is it the Hyundais? Where they got the little dog bones as brake lights. If you drive one of them, sorry, it's funny, it's dog bones. And there was actually one parked next to us, but I fast forwarded it through that part so you didn't sit me at the red light. But either way, we're back to the middle part. And so you can kind of start to see some of those other things I mentioned, right? This is where that Lowe's is, the Aldi's, and so much more. And for those of you that watched my driving through Northeast Columbia video, I drove right through here and we turned where that Porsche dealership was the other way. So welcome back for those of you that watched that one. Either way, again, more of that shopping that I talked about for this district. As well, you're gonna catch eye of it right there on the left. This is the brand new Lexington Medical Northeast facility. Little information about this facility as we come up here and make a right, or I'm sorry, a left. This is always tricky because I'm facing backwards. So I always got to remember to point the opposite way. If we're going left, I have to point right. So that's why sometimes I'll point the wrong way, or I'll say right when I mean left, because I'm thinking point right and say left. Either way, Lexington Medical Center Northeast, 225,000 square foot building at the intersection of Clemson Road and Longtown Road, where we are right now in Northeast Columbia. It provides community members with urgent care, imaging services, occupational physical therapy, ambulatory surgery. Several doctors' offices and the hospital network care are located in this facility. There's also a cafe, classroom space. This new facility allows Lexington Medical Center to provide the best possible care to patients in Northeast Columbia. Again, we're on Longtown Road now, heading towards the Long Creek neighborhood. You'll catch some eyes of that. But going back to the Lexington facility, I talked about before how a little bit of a competition when it comes to these hospitals in the area, which is good for us, right? So biggest hospital system is going to be Prisma Health, followed by Lexington Medical Center. And then you also have what used to be the Providence Hospitals that was bought out by MUSC. And then of course, over off of Garner's Ferry, you have the Dorn VA Hospital. But either way, Lexington Medical Center, well, let's go back. Providence had originally put a facility up here in the northeast part of Columbia. Now that one does have an ER. Now, like I said, MUSC bought out Providence, and that's now that. So Lexington obviously made their move to this direction, trying to expand their footprint. And so we're just seeing a little bit of expansion, which allows more opportunity for those, because a lot of people ask about medical care in the area. And so obviously the majority of it is going to be close to Columbia. Right, downtown Columbia, you have the large Prisma Health with their ER, trauma center, pediatric center, as well. There's another Prisma Health down there. In West Columbia, just outside of Columbia, on the other side, is where you're gonna have the original Lexington Medical Center. And then, like I said, you have MUSC that bought out Providence downtown, and one up here in the Northeast, and the Dorn VA. So, of course, adding that growth to the area, giving more options and opportunities for those not only needing medical care, but those that are needing jobs, right? I've talked to people that took jobs up here at the Lexington Medical Center in the Northeast and had to move up this direction because of that. And so obviously, like I said, a lot of growth in the area that has led to the expansion of these different hospital systems and more. Either way, we're gonna pull up to a light here. We're gonna continue on further into truly what is the Long Creek Plantation neighborhood. Obviously this loops kind of back into it that way. All right, so sometimes I can get real behind here. For those that don't know how I do this, essentially I know the route I'm gonna drive. I go out and drive the route, and then I come back up here and I have my teleprompter up here with some bullet points that I wanna hit, right? I need those information about Lexington Medical Center and that. And as I'm driving through, of course, I keep my eye on the video down below me and kind of point those things out. So that's why I may jump back and forth. I apologize for that, but that's why you may see that happen. But either way, we're pulling into, like I said, the Long Creek Plantation area. And so as we come up here to this stop sign, we're gonna be making a right onto Longtown East. Reason it's Longtown East is because going the other way, Longtown West. This does make an entire loop. We're not going to make the entire loop so I can show you some other areas. But before we do, I want to point out right there on the left straight, we're going to talk about that in just a second, but I want to talk about this neighborhood on the right first, and then we'll circle back to that. So this is going to be Mungo's Gates of Windermere. I did highlight this on the new construction series as they have a new phase that's about to kick off. And they say that they have homes ranging from 1,700 square feet to more than 2,700 square feet, up to 4 bedrooms with pricing from the high 300s and up. So left of us now and straight at the stop sign is a sign for Fox Creek's Homes Linkside. I talked about this in my new construction video, but for those that didn't catch it, Fox Creek Homes is new to our area, but not a new builder by any sense of the means. I talked about this earlier, right? New builders coming to the area. They've been building out in Charleston and other areas for some time, but it seems they've made the expansion to the area with this neighborhood, as well as one over in Lake Carolina that I hit on in that neighborhood that we'll drive by kind of a little bit later. I'll point it out, don't get me wrong. Now, the reason it's called Linkside is behind is what you'll see on the left coming up just around this corner is the Windermere Club. So the Windermere Club is one of the many golf courses in this area that we're going to be talking about. From their site, there it is. Pete Dye Signature Golf Course, indoor outdoor tennis complex, junior Olympic pool, 3,000 square foot state-of-the-art fitness center, and dining with some of the greatest sunsets in Columbia, as you can see that lake right there in the background. All this is packaged in a beautiful natural setting near Blythewood, South Carolina. A club has become more respected sports club in South Carolina, drawing members and guests from all over the country. If you've never played here, you're missing a great round of golf. Now on the right, I don't know if we passed the sign yet. We're gonna pass another one over here, Columbia Country Club. I'll circle back to that. There. Okay, so you're kind of crossing over here. But either way, Long Creek Equestrian is on the right. It says it's 33.5 acres within the Long Creek Plantation neighborhood in Blythewood. The main barn houses 30 horses, and the hay barn where the shavings, hay, and equipment are kept has 3 additional stalls. LCEC has 12 pastures, a covered arena, a jumping arena, a dressed arena, and numerous trails. All are lit for night riding. All the fields are grassed along with additional coastal hay. The 5 outer pastures have natural running water, and the upper fields have water troughs. Either way, left, Columbia Country Club. That's right, south side of this neighborhood makes up all around Windermere Club, which there's a gated neighborhood on the right that we're passing that does wrap around the Windermere Club, and on the north side makes up the Columbia Country Club. And the Columbia Country Club, to give you an idea about that, is a private member-owned club that offers a championship golf course, high-quality dining, swimming, and other program services that the members strongly support. Columbia Country Club has over 100 years of excellence. They're home to the 121st U.S. Women's Amateur Champion Jensen Castle, and named 2020 South Carolina Golf Association Club of the Year. On the right up here is the Mungo neighborhood that closed out a few years ago, not too long ago, Long Cove. As we come up around this corner though, you're gonna see a left-hand turn, and that's gonna be Long Cove heading back the loop. So that turn right there, that'll take you back to where we started. Like I said, a giant loop. But we're gonna continue straight this way because we're gonna go check out some other parts of Blythewood. Like I said, we wanna check out where Lake Carolina is and then head back to Doko Park. On the left though, Blythewood Middle School. Again, wanna give you a perspective of, okay, if I live in these neighborhoods, where is my commute? What does it look like? What does that travel look like to these areas? And so hopefully this gives you an idea. And to give you kind of better concept of that is we're actually going to be making a right on Rimmer Pond. If you remember, you recall we were moving fast, but earlier I said, hey, remember Rimmer Pond? If you turn to the left here down that road, that'll take you down where we're gonna be earlier. That's here. Now, obviously you're not gonna get the perspective of getting back to downtown Blythewood here, because again, I wanna circle this way to hit a couple more neighborhoods that y'all asked me about, and then we're gonna circle back another road that will take us to downtown Blythewood. And so I'll give you a little bit of perspective and point some of these places out as we circle back. So again, if you live here, like, okay, how far is it truly to these other areas? Either way, we're gonna be heading up further down this way to some other neighborhoods. And as we come up here, let's hope that Hardscrabble is finally done with their construction. Never, right? For those of you that know about the area, know what I'm joking about. Hardscrabble Road has been under construction for what feels like forever. I make the joke though because I feel like I she's not gonna watch this. So my wife will watch movies like 10 times. And even on the 10th time, she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, why are you surprised? You've seen this like 10 times. So that's why I always make the joke, because it's like, I've already recorded this, I know what happens. Either way, just whatever. So either way, the intersection is completed. You'll see as we come up here, which is super nice for those that live on this side of town. Rest of Hardscrabble still under construction, sorry. Either way, we're gonna be coming up to a neighborhood. I'm gonna start there because we'll get moving fast as we get close there, and there's a lot of things I wanna cover at this intersection. So on the right is gonna be Eastwood Homes Autumn Pond. They currently show homes from 2,568 square feet up to 3,400 square feet, 3-bed, 3-bath to 5-bed, 4-bath homes ranging from approximately 380,000 up to 450,000. Perfect. There's Hardscrabble. So to the right would take you to the Falls. Straight would take you, well, right also takes you to Lake Carolina. Straight takes you to Lake Carolina as well. The Falls, though, we'll start there, built by multiple builders, Munga Homes, Stanley Martin Homes. They're both wrapping up, but recently announced a new builder to the area, Veranda Homes. They started building there in what appears to be one of the final phases of the Falls townhomes, and they say they're coming from the mid 200s. Still early information about that. Again, straight would take you to Lake Carolina, where the Lake Carolina middle and elementary schools are, plus the YMCA. So again, after we loop the last neighborhood that we're gonna come down here, we're gonna make a right, loop a neighborhood, and head back down to downtown Blythewood. You'll get a good sense of how far Lake Carolina and these neighborhoods are back to, per se, the Scout plant. As I've had people that are working at the Scout plant pick Lake Carolina because of this proximity, and you'll get a good eye for it as we come up to the stop sign. Now, as we come to the stop sign, we're gonna be making a right towards that neighborhood. This is Langford. We'll loop back here, we'll fast forward, we'll get back to this spot so you get that perspective. But if you haven't watched my entire video about Lake Carolina, you'll wanna check that out, as I cannot cover it all in this video, as this is a one-of-a-kind unique master plan community here in the Midlands of South Carolina. We got a lot of them, as you've seen, up here in the northeast part of Columbia. This one, though, it features a 200-acre private lake as the center of the neighborhood. It can be used for boating, fishing, skiing, and so much more. You can as well find homes that sit right there on the lake, have their own dock, access to the water, and so much more. Excuse me, they got 30 miles of winding bike and nature trails, multiple pool, playgrounds, dog parks, and even 2 elementary schools and middle schools, and the YMCA right there in the neighborhood, right? Walkable neighborhoods that you all ask me about. Lastly, their own downtown with a restaurant, convenience stores, hair salons, and so much more. Truly unique neighborhood in the Midlands of South Carolina. I've had a lot of people choose this neighborhood because of all of that it offers. A lot of you call me and say, where are the walkable neighborhoods? This is going to be that most walkable neighborhood outside of living downtown Columbia, because it has its own town center. And again, if you're zoned for one of those schools in the neighborhood, you can literally walk, ride your bike to the elementary, to the middle school, to the YMCA, and so much more. Either way, Langford Road, as we come up here, we're gonna be pulling into Grand Arbor. This is going to be a Pulte and Syntex neighborhood, and I'll talk about first entrance there, and then we're coming up to the main entrance here. So I made an entire video about this neighborhood when it first released. And the reason there's such a gap between there and there, I wanna bring this up before I forget, is one of the unique things that Pulte likes to do is they don't like to make homes back up to each other. So they left the tree green space in between this side and the other side. So these people on the left-hand side all back up to trees. On the right-hand side, you can see it as well, back up to trees. If there's ever homes that butt up to each other, they will put a green space. So your fences literally don't touch each other. Pretty unique thing that they do, because a lot of people ask all the time, I don't want to back up to a neighbor. And so this has that. Obviously you can see the pond over there. But either way, again, Pulte Homes and Syntex Home. Pulte is the larger homes that we drive through now, which they do allow you to do some customized options with these. You can pick your lot, pick your floor plan, do quite a bit of changes to them. Syntex is more the pre-designed. Walk in, we got some homes ready for you. We're gonna be making a right out of the neighborhood through the Syntex section in just a second. To the left is gonna be their amenity center. I don't have time to cover it. You'll wanna check out that new construction videos, because they have an amenity that many of you asked me about, and they are one of the only 2 that have announced that they're gonna have it right there in their neighborhood. So you wanna check out that video to learn more. But Syntex, 5 floor plans ranging from 3-bed, 2-bath ranch houses, 1510 square feet up to 2-story, 5-bed, 3-bath, 2518 square foot houses. Pulte sides, single-story ranch plans from 2 beds, 2.5 baths up to larger homes, 6 beds, 5-bath homes, 1987 square feet to 2842 square feet with option to be larger. Syntex has 17 homes ranging from 274, 465 up to 350, 840. Pulte does have homes listed from 399, 825 up to 433, 445. We have seen some price cuts in this neighborhood. As you can see, we have moved and we are going fast. We have passed light speed. Light speed is too slow. We're going to ludicrous speed. Either way, hope you got the joke there. But we've caught back up, right? So that was that road right there on the left where I went back to normal speed, where Lake Carolina, the falls, and all those. So again, trying to get down to downtown Blythewood. Remember where we drove. You're gonna come up here, and this is gonna be your drive back to the Scout Plant, downtown Blythewood, Doko Meadows Park, that we'll hit later on. So again, want to give you that best perspective. Traveled a lot here. Either way, but yeah, so going back to Grand Arbor, again, I think I covered all of it as far as pricing and amenities. You're gonna have to watch that video to know what that special amenity is. I'll give you some of them. How about that? We'll do that. So they do have a pool in there. They're gonna have basketball courts. They're going to have that lake that the pool overlooks. They're already in the process of building the pool. They got a little green space out there, soccer fields and things like that. So quite a bit of activities and stuff like that they do offer in those areas. Either way, we're gonna be coming up here, and I'm probably gonna miss it. So I wanna point it out because if you remembered when we left the Long Creek Plantation, there was that Mungo neighborhood at the back end. They said it was a completed neighborhood. We made a right, Rimmer Pond. So there's a spot over here where you can actually cut through. I believe it's coming up here. You'll probably see a sign on the left for some of those neighborhoods that direction. So again, give you perspective if you're living in Long Creek Plantation, you want to get to Doko Meadows Park. What is going to be your drive from there? And so that hopefully gives you the perspective. Like I said, there's some signs coming up. I don't think I've missed them yet. I think they're coming up here in just a little bit. As you can see, another rural section that's not entirely developed quite yet. I believe it's going to be this turn right up here. Yeah, there's those signs. So yeah, that'll take you back over to where Long Creek Plantation is and those neighborhoods over there. So again, give you perspective of, if you remember after we turned and we came up, that distance, I'm trying to think of the best way to explain it. Either way, as we come up here, some neighborhoods, established neighborhoods on the right-hand side there, but we're also going to be coming up, you'll see some school zone signs because Langford Elementary School is going to be up here on the left-hand side as we come up. Not quite yet. There you go, there's that school sign. So it looks like, there it is on the left-hand side. That's Langford Elementary School right there. Either way, we're coming towards Doko Meadows Park, but before we get there, there's actually another neighborhood that I want to point out. Let me start with that now, because otherwise we'll get ahead of it and I'll miss it. So it's going to be on the left-hand side of the road, Blythewood Farms. So this is going to be a Great Southern Homes neighborhood. Neighborhood says they have 5 different floor plans, I should say, from 3 to 5 bedrooms, 2 to 3 bathrooms, 1 to 2 car garages, 1 to 2 story homes ranging from 1,468 square feet up to 3,153 square feet. They are doing expansion in this neighborhood. You'll see it's a large neighborhood, and the first section of it is completed and they're doing some expansion to the next phase. They do have a community pool and pavilion that is already built, that is already completed. I believe there's going to be one for the neighborhood. For those that ask, there you go, Blythewood town limit sign. So we are rolling back into the town limits of Blythewood, and so just past these trees you'll start to see it. Either way, pricing Blythewood Farms, it's going to be from $282,900 and up, and they do have homes for sale at this moment. And like I said, they got still quite a bit left to build. And as you see, it's coming up here on the left-hand side of the road right now. So this is the start of the neighborhood, and there's the main entrance there, and off in the distance, you'll see the second entrance to it. Either way, we're coming up to the end of this drive, and we're coming up to something that a lot of people ask me about, Doko Meadows Park. And the reason I bring this up is because this park is one of the highlights of Blythewood. There's a lot in it already, and there's a lot that's planned to be expanded. You'll see it's kind of the train depot that we talked about in the beginning, that this started as a train depot station, and you'll see the train depot that they use. Historic house used as their town hall. But either way, in the neighborhood, and I'll get you, I won't just do a drive through it. I got some drone videos of it so you get a better idea. But amphitheater in there, they do open air markets, local events, farmers markets. They got 6 miles of walking trails that wind in and out of wooded areas. They're eventually going to be connecting schools and neighborhoods while passing through sculpture gardens, large open fields, 2,500 seat amphitheater on a beautiful lake, showcase artists, events, concerts, so much more, playgrounds, skating facilities, soccer fields, rope courses, and exciting new challenges for children of all ages. You can see as we come up here what they have thus far. And the master plan shows to actually the left that you don't see it, there's a plan for further expansion of more green space. Tons of great stuff for the community, and one of the highlights of the Blythewood area, as you can see, the lake and the soccer fields and all the walking trails in the distance.